Sounds good, man. Sounds good. Not the best way to kick off the show, botching, much like Seth Rollins did on Twitter last night. Not necessarily his fault, but we'll kick it off with that, actually, because that's been the hottest topic in all of wrestling for the last 24 hours. And a lot of people like you and myself, RJ, did not know about it during Raw, and we were kind of asking about it, and I didn't want any answers, because there were some pictures going around, some that you didn't want to see, some that you did want to see, so it depends on who we're talking about here. So for the bottom line, for those that don't know, and I mean, I don't know how you couldn't know, but before we get into our NXT TakeOver Rival predictions, Raw review, Seth Rollins here. So during the course of Raw last night, apparently some pictures of him leaked online. But even before that, some pictures, some nude pictures, some racy photos of some NXT diva who is not on NXT TV right now. I think her name's Zahara or something like that.
Zahara or something.
Yeah.
She's in NXT, but she's not like on TV.
Yeah, she's like a developmental in training, whatever. So the pictures of her went up, I think, on Seth Rollins' Twitter. I'm pretty sure.
Twitter and his Instagram, I think, at like 7:58.
Okay, yeah, so right before Raw started. So that happened, and then the nude photos of Seth Rollins went online. I think shortly thereafter on the same forums on Twitter and on
I think it was
Instagram?
on Twitter and Instagram, yeah.
Okay, so both outlets. So that all happened. They were deleted pretty quickly. Obviously, people picked up on it and whatever else. And the worst part about it was that Rollins had to appear 2 different times in the evening. He was on the show in the start of the night, in that opening segment or whatever.
3 times.
In the match with Ryback, yep. And the main event.
4 times then.
4 times?
What
was the other
Sting.
thing? Rollins?
Did you see the picture of Sting?
What are you talking? That was Rollins?
It looked exactly like Rollins. I swear to
Rollins,
God.
really?
I swear to God, it looked like Rollins. I looked at it last night.
There's been no report that who it is. So
it
maybe
looked
it is.
like Rollins. I swear to God. Like he had like a wicked bad pony. Like his hair.
Oh, the hair was terrible. Yeah.
And so was it looked like Rollins. I'm trying to find it right now.
Maybe it is Rollins, but yeah. So he appeared multiple times during the night, regardless of what the number was, and then he had to go out during the main event later on in the night too. It was crazy. So this guy's pulling double duty. Not even double duty. He's appearing like all over the show, and I feel bad for the guy after what happened to him. And technically, it's not his fault. And RJ and I were talking before the show whether it was his fault, did he cheat on her? That's not really confirmed. He did issue an apology on his Twitter page last night or early this morning. I forgot what it was. But just a lot of controversy with Seth Rollins right now. So Arden, while RJ's looking up the photo of fake Sting right now, I want to get your thoughts on the controversy. Bottom line is this: do you think that this is going to affect Seth Rollins' push or career going forward at all?
It shouldn't really affect Rollins' career, to be honest. At the end, man, it's just one big mistake on either side, man. It's just a big mistake by him, or just something that's just a really unfortunate situation, man. It's something that happens, especially in today's age, regardless of what you do. You know, if you got pictures out there like that, at some point with the people that use the internet, man, they're going to find a way to leak them. So for him, it's just one of those things you live and you learn, and make sure that your pictures are in better hands. But I definitely didn't mind the pictures of the NXT diva. Not at all. I love those pictures.
Exactly. But the problem was that it was actually trending on Facebook earlier today, I think it was, during the afternoon. And my roommate, who kind of casually watches, he found out about the story and I was telling him about it. And he was trying to look up the story and whatever else. And they had a forum with the pictures of the chick, but when you went to the forum or the news site or whatever else, it wasn't the pictures of the chick, it was the pictures of Seth Rollins. So obviously he was traumatized. Yeah, those are the news websites, pretty much, just kind of, you know, pulling a fast one on you. No pun intended with Fastlane coming up. But still, the jokes were going all over Twitter last night during the main event. It was hysterical, but a pretty unfortunate situation. So I want to get your thoughts on this, RJ. You've been very vocal about this. I want to get your thoughts. Do you think this is going to affect the career of Seth Rollins?
I hope not. I hope it doesn't affect his career. I think obviously he's top heel right now. I don't think this little mishap will really hurt it. I don't think it should have hurt him either. Like they're saying, like, oh my God, like his privates are on internet, but like over the months, how many divas have had like a nip slip or like ass hanging out, like their coochie hanging out? Plenty of divas have had that happen over the years. Like Nikki Bella has had it happen plenty of times.
Yep.
Obviously, that's not intentional, but it happens. Obviously, he didn't intend for this to happen. His Twitter or Instagram got hacked, and then his fiance thought it'd be a good idea to do that. I don't get that at all, but it is what it is, and I think the WWE would be really dumb to. Supposedly they said that I looked online and said that they said like backstage there's no heat.
Yep.
And that he apologized and that they told the rest of the staff to just not bring it up and try to get over it. So
yeah, don't make any jokes about it on Twitter, like the typical John Cena joke.
See, doesn't that look like Seth Rollins on the side?
He's showing me the picture right now. It does not look like Seth Rollins 100%. It probably is. I mean, there's a chance.
They said it was an extra, but it still does look like Seth Rollins.
Yeah, there is a strong resemblance there. I will admit that. But I think the funniest part about all of this is that you and I were talking about this last week on the show when we did it over the phone, was that, and some people made light of this in the joking manner and some in a serious manner, and that the reason why they won't induct China into the WWE Hall of Fame, as they revealed on the riveting Triple H Stone Cold Steve Austin podcast last week, was that if an 8-year-old searched up China, they would find her, past porn career on the internet and stuff like that. Yet with the pictures and whatever else with Seth Rollins, people are making the joke that he's never going to be in the Hall of Fame and stuff like that. I just thought was pretty. I think that's
just so ridiculous because you can go online and see like Trish Stratus.
Exactly. Any diva from
that. Exactly. Tori Wilson. She's not in the Hall of Fame yet, but she should be. But
that's
or like Sable.
Yep.
Like.
Yeah, all the divas from the Attitude Era.
If you do divas from any time from Playboy, like Christy Hemme, Candice Michelle, all of them, I don't think they'll be in the Hall of Fame, but still.
Yeah, exactly. But I think even though, I don't know, we already talked about this last week, so we don't want to beat a dead horse here, but in the relation that there's really nothing stopping from China going to the Hall of Fame with all that kind of stuff. I made the same point as well. Like, all these divas posed for Playboy back in, even as soon as like a couple years ago, before they went PG, they were still doing it, and it's not even Attitude Era. And I don't know, I just thought that was ridiculous, a ridiculous excuse from Triple H. Yeah. I think it's more because Stephanie doesn't really like her and vice versa, whatever. But going back to the Seth Rollins thing, though, it was you and I and Jean on Twitter yesterday talking about when he's going to cash in, become the next World Heavyweight Champion. So that being said, do you still see Seth Rollins as a future WWE World Heavyweight Champion?
I still see him as a future WWE Champion. I don't think this will hurt him at all. I think it was just a mistake that happened. They'll get over it and move on.
That's not really his fault exactly, so I don't really see him suffering any repercussions from this. He's the top heel in the company right now, so they can't even, it's a thing they can't suffer from right now.
I said plenty of people got arrested over the couple of years. It's way worse than this, so.
I go back to Jack Swagger from a couple years ago. When he had that DUI, you remember that? It was like 2 or 3 years ago.
Right before WrestleMania.
Right before WrestleMania. Number 1 contender for the World Heavyweight Championship that wasn't suspended, suffered no repercussions from it whatsoever. And, he was never pushed again after that. I don't know if that was the punishment or whatever. He didn't get an entrance at WrestleMania that year. But this is kind of the same thing, even though this was not at all Seth Rollins' fault. So bottom line, he won't suffer any punishment from this, hopefully, going forward.